I gotta mute the watch page. So we should be good. We're live right now.
Outstanding.
I'm not gonna be paying too much to the watch. I'm not gonna be paying too much attention to the watch page when it comes on. So this is Robert Bassano and my boy John S. We tried to do this live hangout about what, a week, 2 weeks ago. It was called Flat Earth Sunsets and Rises. And before I had a chance to broadcast that bad boy, YouTube was like, oh hell no, forget it, and they blocked it. So got a community guideline strike, but got it lifted within 30 minutes which means that they were eavesdropping on our conversation. So we're going to take a second crack at this, people. And this one's titled Ruled by Secrecy, Outer Space, Where Does Space Begin, and the Sun. So we got a whole host of information that we're going to be talking about today. Got some information that John shared with me that I've had a chance to look over. Very interesting data. You guys know what my motto is. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. I'm all about the documentation, baby. Take their documents, do our best we can to decipher it, analyze it, break it down, and find out what's truth, what's fiction, what's bullshit, what's reality, and what's not. You guys know where I come from. Ain't nothing real. So we're going to find out how real things could get or may not be. All right. So what I'm going to do here is that John's going to do most of the talking. Yeah, we already got 20 viewers too, dude. And I'm going to pull up some documents for a share screen for you people. And the first document we're going to pull up is actually, let me see here. It's a document by Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, okay, titled, it's a scholarly commons paper titled, Where is Space and Why Does It Matter? Okay, it's the first thing we're going to talk about. I'm going to blow this up for everybody so they can see it. And then let me do the share screen here real quick there, Johnny.
Okay.
I don't like doing all that introduction stuff, man, where people start asking, well, where does this guy come from, whatever have you. They're going to hear when you start talking when it comes. Johnny's not somebody that I, worked for any organization or whatever have you. He became interested in a bunch of the videos that I put up, specifically the one where we spoke to one of the program guys from the Soho team that has that satellite that's in the Lagrange range 1 that's monitoring the sun. And he heard some things on that call that didn't jive. So what I'm going to do right now is share my screen. Make sure everybody can see this bad boy. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the first doc. Let me hide this. Pull this bad boy up. Everybody should be able to see it. And booyah. Here goes the doc. Let me make sure everybody can see this document. John, you can if you want to, if you can watch the watch page.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I got it. I can see it. I can see part of it.
You can see the what? Okay, you can see the document?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, great. So here we go, people. Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. They're talking about, hang on, my son just came in and rated the whole thing. That's okay, he's good to go. So where is space and why does it matter? Okay. 2014 conference agenda. And here we go. Any particular place you want to start off at, John?
Yeah, these documents right here are just in support of, okay, where is space? And it goes back to my main point. I try to keep my points limited to about 3 main points because you can get easily sidetracked and down rabbit trails of different subjects. But my main point, if there's no physical barrier between the Earth's atmosphere and space, and which there isn't, and this is one document that supports that, then what are we talking about here? I mean, the second law of thermodynamics, or the laws of entropy, state that, you know, energy goes from concentrated uh, uh, to disordered, basically, or an area where it's not concentrated, high pressure to low pressure, always. So if the vacuum of space, as we're told, is very low pressure, and the surface of the Earth is very high pressure, how are we still breathing? Is what I'm saying. There should be a cascading effect from the exosphere all the way down to ground level, faster than you can say entropy. I mean, we shouldn't even still be breathing. So everything regarding space, that is Hubble, ISS, satellites, everything is basically off the table. Unless somebody falsifies the second law of thermodynamics, I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
Yeah, that's interesting. You say that too, because remember what Scott Kelly said when he claimed to be up in ISS, and they were asking him about, hey, you know, what are you seeing? You know, every time you guys are doing your orbits, and he was talking about how the Earth's atmosphere is very fragile.
Right.
He said extreme, and I'm not sure if he used the word extremely, but he said it was very fragile. So, you know, backing up what you're saying, if it's that fragile, you know, and here they come, they're saying they're launching rockets going into space or outer space. They're piercing that veil, this so-called thin atmosphere veil. And if you're piercing that veil doing maybe a dozen launches a month from all over the world, shouldn't there be some sort of catastrophic event happening somewhere, or is it just closing up on its own? You know how you've seen those movies where something, you know, some sort of projectile goes into from one dimension to another, and it enters like a liquid substance, and it just closes up behind it,
yeah,
where nothing else can enter it.
Yeah,
that's why I had been looking into the whole, you know, superfluid helium as a possibility, and what they're claiming to be dark matter, because it's got to be mixing with something for it to just seal up on its own. And that guy from Hubble was like, well, if that's what you're talking about, what are you talking about as far as density is concerned? When he asked me, what are you talking about as far as densities, that means that he was considering the possibility that that's what they're looking into as well. I mean, he didn't know the density of superfluid helium. I mean, I had to look it up because I hadn't heard of it before. But, you know, when you got somebody who's been sitting at a desk for a program for 25 years, and you're not even sure where it is, you're entertaining all options. You're entertaining all options. I mean, this document here, you know, just reading the abstract, you know, what I basically do with every course that I take on the graduate level, they tell you what they're going to talk about. Despite decades here to go of debate on the topic, there's no consensus of what precisely constitutes the boundary between airspace and outer space. Okay, the topic is mired in legal and political conundrums, and the easy solution to date has been to not agree on a definition of space. Whoa. So they don't even know what space is. They only know the airspace that we fly in. And I want to bring up this chart that John has shared because, let me see if I can find this here.
I think it's the common.
Yeah, here it is. Here's the Earth's atmosphere right here, this document. Right. And this was something that John shared with me. It talks about the composition of the Earth's atmosphere. And we're looking at atmospheric gases scatter blue light more than other wavelengths, giving the Earth a blue halo when seen from space. We got about 70% of nitrogen, 20%, about 21% of oxygen, argon gas, almost 1%, carbon dioxide, you know, 0.0384%, water vapor, about 1%, and they don't know what the other is.
Yeah, yeah, they
They don't
don't
know
know.
what the other gas is. They don't know what the hell it is.
Well, they tell us that there is a vacuum now, a near perfect vacuum or a vacuum. But how can that be? How can you have a vacuum attached to a non-vacuum, Earth, and still retain the properties of a vacuum and a non-vacuum in the same system simultaneously?
Exactly.
It's a
Exactly.
second law of thermodynamics violation.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. All that heat's got to go somewhere, and they're claiming that it's being pushed down to us instead of going up in the atmosphere, up further up above us.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it violates the entropy laws. Listen, unless it is hindered purposely in nature, heat flows from hot to cold always. Energy concentrated to dispersed always. High pressure
Yeah,
to low pressure always, period. End of story, case closed. So
yeah,
if somebody's proposing something different than that, then it's it's going to be a horrible failure, and it's going to collapse in the deepest humiliation, according to the second law of thermodynamics. You can't get around it. It's impossible. It's over.
yeah. And for
So,
everybody that wants to know what John's talking about as far as entropy, is dispersal of energy. A hot pan spontaneously disperses some of its energy to the cooler air of a room. Conversely, even a cool room would disperse a portion of its energy to colder ice cubes placed in it. When a container of nitroglycerin is merely dropped on the floor, the nitroglycerin may change into other substances explosively, but some of its bond energy is spread out and increasing the vigorous motions of molecules in gaseous products. At a high pressure in a car tire, the compressed air tends to blow out and disperses its more concentrated energy to lower pressure and atmosphere. At any pressure, ideal gases will spontaneously flow into an evacuated chamber, spreading the energy of their molecules' motions over the final, larger volume without any change in temperature. And it goes on and keep
yeah,
describing, giving examples of just experimental examples of what how entropy actually behaves and what
yeah,
it actually is.
yeah. It's over.
Yeah, everything that you're describing here, if that's what if our atmosphere is supposed to be abiding by, you know, these rules and these procedures, then everything else just falls to the wayside. You can't believe what happens with the sun. You can't believe what happens with temperature chambers and thermal equilibrium and cryogenic equilibrium. Something's going on with all that ice, and that environment down in Antarctica. Maybe it's another layer below us, possibly. And remember, John, when I spoke to you and I said, it's interesting when I started looking at this data, it dawned on me, which I've always known this. When I was in the Navy and I had to go through my dive physical,
Hmm.
they take you inside a hyperbaric chamber to 300 feet. Well, as we kept going down in depth, it was being simulated, of course. It got colder and colder and colder inside that chamber.
Right.
And the deeper you get in the oceans, the colder it gets. So you got to ask yourself, wait a minute. We've all seen footage underwater of these thermal vents, right? It's supposed to be really, really, really fucking cold down there. But somehow these thermal vents, right, are able to, emit, high degree temperatures of the sulfur, was it the sulfur dioxide that they're emitting? What is it that refresh my memory?
Yeah. There's a number of things that are emitted
Yeah,
down
there's a
there.
number of
Yeah.
things coming out of there. They've recorded the temperatures at in excess of 500 to 800 degrees. But they're at depths where the temperatures, you know, are there. I wouldn't say they were freezing, but they're cold enough to where, I mean, if you're not insulated, you're gonna get hypothermia pretty quick.
Yeah. Let me quote something from Arthur Eddington in The Nature of the Physical World in 1930, page 74. If your theory is found to be against the second law of thermodynamics, I can give you no hope. There is nothing for your theory but to collapse in the deepest humiliation. And that pretty much says it all. because it's basically over.
Yeah.
And you know, I didn't even realize that I've been studying these things for many years, and you know, I never really thought about it. I was recently challenged about 6 weeks ago uh, to debunk the flat Earth, and you know, after I got done laughing hysterically, literally, by the way, I said, "No problem. Give me about 5 minutes." Well, that 5 minutes have come and gone, and I've been kicking myself for a while here, not seeing this. I mean, this is basic stuff right here, man.
Yeah.
And like I said, if uh, you can't go up against the second law of thermodynamics, you're going to lose. You're going to lose quick, suddenly, and abruptly, and it's over right there. So, it, everything concerned with outer space, as we're told, is off the table. All bets
Yeah.
are off.
Well, you heard the interviews with Soho, Sophia, and the Hubble guy. They all said that everything that's supposed to be in space, including the Hubble, which is they'll stick to their story till they die and say it's at 330 plus miles. They all agree that they're in environments where there's atmospheric drag.
Yeah,
So
the orbital decay. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
valid laugh.
so outer space is supposed to be what they claim to be a vacuum. If you've got assets up there that you claim are undergoing atmospheric drag, but somehow they can maintain 17,000. How? See that right then and there, I just realized, how can you have something that's 25,000 pounds undergoing atmospheric drag, but it never fucking slows down?
And from what I've been told, the Hubble doesn't have any orbital decay. I've been told that by about 10 different people. I said, what?
Yeah, the Hubble guy that I spoke to said that its altitude is decaying with every orbit.
Of course it is.
So my thing is that how can something like that still be traveling at a constant velocity
Yeah. And
for 15 years? For 15 years, and it's still not within the same altitude of, so quote unquote, the ISS at 200 plus miles.
well, I come across, and I think you came across the same material that said the ISS, and that's at about 240 miles above the surface, and that's about 100 miles removed from Hubble.
Yeah.
However, you said that, and I come across things that said that the ISS has orbital decay about 1 to 2 miles every 95 minutes every orbit or so.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and I saw that's on the European Space Agency's website. I mean, we can
Right.
pull that a little bit later, but I had someone from NASA try to tell me, no, you're mistaken. And then some other, debunkers who come onto my channel and saying, no, you don't know what you're talking about. You know nothing about orbital mechanics. The ISS doesn't lose 1 to 2 miles every couple of minutes. It's every year. So bullshit. I'm watching it in real time. I'm watching it go from 220 miles down to almost 215 miles, and then all of a sudden it jumps back up again because it has a propulsion system to push it back up.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, you can look at the clock and you look at the time, and it's showing you literally in less than 5 minutes it drops 2 miles. So how can something the size of a football field, 100 yards long, 50 yards wide, never undergo any kind of structural or micro stress where literally it'll snap like a fucking toothpick and break apart? Yeah. Flying at 17,000 miles an hour, they're saying that this they never had to experience any of this. But again, undergoing atmospheric drag.
Yeah, and you said you got that, and I got the same figures, the 1 to 2 miles, and this is for the ISS, for 1 to 2 miles every orbit or so, and both the ISS and the Hubble are allegedly orbiting at about 15 orbits per day. So the ISS, as you said, is 1 to 2 miles every orbit. Well, let's do a back of the envelope calculation with Hubble. Let's break that down to 1/16 of a mile. orbital decay per orbit. What do we have? So we got a loss in altitude per day of about 0.93 miles. Loss in altitude per year, 342 miles. Loss in altitude since the last STS mission, I think that was STS-125.
Yeah.
7 years ago, that's 2,395 miles. The Hubble telescope should be 2,389 miles beneath the Mariana Trench.
There you go. And you know, when I said that, and I was on that call, I was actually doing the math on the fly, dude. And I just came up with an educated guess.
You left him, Robert. You left him off the hook, and that's understandable, because if you would have told him the semi-precise figures, you would have lost him. He would have hung up on you.
Yeah, I swear to God, I was doing the math on the fly when I was asking the question. I was literally had a piece of paper and pencil, write it down. I said, you know, according to my calculations, the ISS should be in the bottom of Mariana's Trench. And
that's right. That's right. Yeah. So I did. I listened to that, and I said, well, let's take a look at the calculations. You know, we're not taking everything into account. You know, solar flux and everything. Which, by the way, from 2008 to 2014 was increasing. So that would even be more drag. So you know what? Like I said, that's why I try not to get into the discussions about this. I just go back to the second law of thermodynamics and the vacuum and a non-vacuum in the same system. It is impossible. So all those things, we can stop right now. I mean, if anyone's going to say anything about space, they have to reconcile the second law of thermodynamics. It's really just that simple. We can move on.
Yeah, that's you're right about that. You're right about that. I want to go to that one chart again, because the Soho team has said that they don't use the term exosphere. Exosphere would mean what? Outer space, right?
Yes.
Outer space. They say it's the heliosphere.
Yeah, I think he was talking about just in relation to the sun. I could be mistaken. He's just talking about the sun's outer atmosphere.
Well, what didn't make any sense to me to what he said was this, and you and I had talked about this. If the sun's core, let's just say, you know, just for argument's sake, let's agree with this guy. The sun's core temperature is tens of millions of degrees, right?
Robert, we're going back to the second law of thermodynamics.
And that's what I want to do. That's what I do. And then he's saying the surface temperatures are down to thousands of degrees, tens of thousands of degrees.
The photosphere is 5,800 Kelvin, as we are told.
That's what he said. He says right around the Lagrange range, it's around 5,800 degrees Kelvin. Now get this. It just so happens that as that heat continues to travel towards us, somehow at 245 miles where the ISS is supposed to be, it's down to fucking 200 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh yeah. Well, the whole thing is ridiculous. When I almost fell off my chair when he actually brought it up.
Yeah. And see, what interests me is that if the temperature at 245 miles, right? I don't believe the ISS is at 245 miles. That's number one. But let's just say, for argument's sake, we agree with him. If it's at 200, if the ISS is at 245 miles, and NASA told me when I called them that the temperature up there is 200 degrees Fahrenheit in the sunlight and minus 200 at nighttime on the night side, that means if you do the calculations from 245 miles down to the surface of the Earth, we should be freezing our fucking asses off right now. You understand what I'm saying? It should be as cold right now, wherever you at on this Earth. It should be as cold as it is in Antarctica right now. Because based on what he's saying, how can you go from 1,000,000 degrees, tens of millions of degrees, to 5,800 down to 200? That means that once you on the surface of the Earth, you freezing your ass off. There ain't no light or no heating fucking nothing up. The sun is not what's giving us the temperatures that we're experiencing right now.
Well, go ahead and pull up the temperature profile of the sun.
Yeah, I got it. I got it right here right now. Can you see it?
Hold on a second. Oh no, that one, the chart, the temperature profile chart from the photosphere to the chromosphere to the corona.
The temperature photo.
It's not on this one, Robert. It's on the other link I gave you. It's a slide.
It's a. Oh, I don't know if I got that one.
There's one of the picture of the sun and the other a graph.
Yeah, I don't think I have that one.
It has
Shoot the link on Skype and I'll pull it up.
Here, 1 second. I thought I seen that one before.
Yeah, because all I have is this. All I have is the stuff that I pulled up before.
Let me see. 1 second.
And there goes my famous ellipsoid right there.
Oh, the oblate spheroid. Well, somebody got to tell NASA about their pictures to put an oblate spheroid up there.
Yeah, but they still making it look like a damn egg, man, with the Antarctic on the bottom, man. We already know the Antarctic covers the whole goddamn thing.
Well, we could do it without the graph. This is pretty easy to go over with because the Sohu guy brought it up in your interview, and he said,
okay.
Do you know we have a problem. Do you know the second law of thermodynamics? And he even stated the problem, but it was understandable because you were trying to get to a lot of different subjects. And I nearly fell off my chair when he brought it up. So what he was saying is, when you asked him, he said, the temperature, the inner core temperature of the sun is 1,500 or 15 million degrees Kelvin, correct?
Yeah.
And then he said the outer surface of the sun, which is the photosphere, is 5,800 Kelvin. Okay, I got a lot of questions where 14 million degrees Kelvin went, but that's another subject. So you got 15 or 5,800 Kelvin temperature on the photosphere. It slowly dips down on its way to the chromosphere, and then it starts to slowly rise until it gets to the chromosphere, and then it goes parabolic. It goes from 10,000 Kelvin to 150,000 Kelvin in the chromosphere. And then when it gets to the corona, it goes to 1 million Kelvin. I got a question. How can heat flow uphill? We're back to the second law of thermodynamics. This is tantamount. What he said is tantamount to standing by a wood stove. You know, when it gets real hot and you got to move back.
Yeah.
You move back 500 meters and you spontaneously combust. That's how ridiculous.
That's basically what he's saying.
That is basically what he's saying. And I couldn't believe it. Like I told you, I almost fell off my chair when he said it. And he's the one that brought it up. But he kept on going. I mean, everything after that is academic. I mean, you could be talking about invisible three-toed gnomes after that.
Yeah,
it's over. It's another second law of thermodynamics violation. It boggles my mind how they can even talk like that and then move on from it like it was nothing. Oh yeah, that's a problem. I mean, he didn't even say it was, you know, a specific problem. He just moved on from it, talking about his Lagrange points or Lagrange points and other things. I was stupefied.
Yeah. You know, somebody sent me a link the other day. They commented on something that I said regarding high altitude flights. And the link they sent me was an interview that was done with an SR-71 pilot. And in this interview, this guy said something really interesting that caught my attention. It was a long interview too. You know what he said when they got the SR-71 up to about 82,000 feet? He says, you know, when you get up to those altitudes, we could clearly see the meteor activity that you can't see from the ground. And I thought to myself, wait a minute. I had to read it again to make sure I was reading it correctly.
Right.
He says at 82,000 feet, when he was looking out of the cockpit, he could see all of the meteor activity. Meteors, man.
Yeah.
82,000. Which means here we are talking about where does space begin in outer space. These meteors can't be coming from anywhere further. They can't. He's saying they're seeing this activity just above 82,000 feet, flying the SR-71. You know, almost 3 times the speed of sound. Now get this. I was on another someone else's channel, and we were talking about what the dome could be like, what this ceiling above us could be. And when you start considering the electromagnetic field and these auroras they're talking about, right? How they're lit up for some reason. They keep saying that the sun is what's causing the aurora borealis and whatever have you. But if you think about this high speed rotational hot air moving around up there, right? And you're trying to maintain equilibrium. Now, I'm of the belief that yeah, our outer atmospheres are moving really fast. Okay, but the clouds in the atmosphere we see up to the stratosphere, you know, in the jet stream, you know, to say that that's stationary, well, you know, clouds are moving. But when you get at high altitudes, you're looking at much higher speeds, right? You got much higher speeds because you got less density. Could it be that if those speeds start to vary to a specific velocity or acceleration where they either slow down or speed up, that you have sort of a breakdown of whatever this protective ceiling could be, and it's basically fragmenting like you would see if you go into somebody's house and the fucking paint's chipping off the ceiling, right? What ends up happening? You go through enough time, you go into an abandoned building, you start seeing paint chips on the fucking ground, right? Or like say if you use the wrong type of paint, right? Or let's just say you use a paint that can be tolerated in high heat environments. And if you, I think they have this online where you can actually see it. When you look at those chambers where they actually paint, where they spray paint these cars in, you know, when you take them to the shop and stuff like that, they have specific coatings on the inside of these things, right? And that those paints can tolerate high heat. But what's to say that, and I'm not saying that our sky is fucking painted. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, right, Robert. Right, I'm following you.
What if it is some sort of layer that needs to be maintained at a specific temperature, and it has to be a specific velocity, and if that velocity gets screwed around with, say through electromagnetic wave propagation, high energy pulse type of activity, say from HARP or some shit like that, and then you start having chips of this stuff of the protective dome start falling down to Earth. There goes your meteors right there. You also got you got satellites, they claim, or in these balloons and shit, this shit's falling out of the sky.
Yeah, balloons is the right term for that. There's no satellites up there.
Yeah, the balloons that fall out of the sky. But get this, for that high heat to occur, right, something's got to be coming from a higher altitude to have that much velocity and acceleration to literally, when you see things burn up in the atmosphere, right, that's the thermosphere is burning up in, which means it is really fucking hot. That in that area, that specific area, and it's on fire.
I don't know. Are they meteors, or is that alley company out there?
No, I mean it could be, you know, something artificial they put up there, man-made. They put up there that came back in.
Sure.
From a high altitude balloon, because when you look at Echo 1, right? Yeah. Guys, me those links with Echo 1. Echo 1, I don't even know what altitude Echo 1 got to, but they said it was up there for 8 years up on a balloon. And when it came back in, I've been researching a lot, and especially in Latin America, when they talked about the Corona program, these things were about the size of beach balls. They were like big marble balls, and they come screaming back in to the Earth on fire, and they would land on the ground intact, and people would find these things out in the jungle, and they wouldn't know what they were. They're just these big round orbs, these balls. And one country, Venezuela, actually got one of them, and they saw on the side that it said top secret on it. They took the damn thing.
Oh, your kid had top secret written on it?
It had top secret on it. I got this in my cloud files, man, for the Corona incident.
Jeez.
The Venezuelan government, military, actually got one of these things. You know, they told the U.S. government about it. They gave it back to the U.S. government, but U.S. government doesn't know what they did with it when they got hold of it.
Right.
And it was clearly marked. But here's the thing: a bunch of these were found in like Argentina, Colombia, Peru, Chile. They were found all over the place. Now that's below the equator.
Right.
That's below the equator. I've never heard a story of anyone actually finding one, you know, north of the equator. I mean, most of them have been landing out in the ocean and shit like that.
Right.
But they actually, one of the Corona satellites is still at the bottom of the ocean, and they're literally they're countries that are guarding it. I think some countries are trying to get the damn thing, and one country, the U.S. is still trying to guard it because it's got something on it that they don't want anyone else to see. Who knows what the hell it is? But they won't even tell you what the location, just a general area where it could have gone down. But yeah, man, I'm looking at this link right now, Where the Space Began at ABC Science. Man, they don't even know. They're still trying to figure it. Everybody's just trying to figure it out. And when you think about this, right, how old these rocket programs and these balloon programs are, you got to ask yourself if when's the date of this article? The date of this article is 2010, right? You're trying to tell me in 2010 and 2014, we're still trying to figure out where space is, bro? I mean, come on, that tells you right then and there. Nobody's ever gotten above, I don't think anybody's ever gotten beyond the Kármán line.
I agree.
Rockets, they said the highest rocket got to 73 miles. 73 miles.
Yeah, I like I said, space, it's off the table. I mean, anything that they say, I just bring up the second law of thermodynamics. It's real easy. There's nothing that they could say. You can't get around it. There's no possible answer. So everything that they tell us about that I don't believe it.
You can't. You can't.
Robert, I wouldn't trust them if they told me what the air pressure in their tires were. I'd have to witness them. I'd like to see it. I want to see it. You need to pull out the gauge. I need to see you do it. I need to see you do it twice. I want you to confirm it. I'm not believing anything they say, especially when they're contradicting themselves with every other breath.
I mean, Emery Riddle is saying that a proposed boundary, 50 miles, 80 kilometers, roughly the point at which aerodynamic control surfaces are no longer useful. No longer useful. Okay. Yeah. Further background, this line was set through testing of an X-15. The X-15 is designed for control in both the atmosphere and out space. Okay, it was the 50-mile line where the X-15 switched from aerodynamic controls to atmospheric propulsion system. Okay, then they go 62.5 miles, Kármán line, a vehicle at this point which can be between 53 to 60 miles depending on air density, would have to fly faster than orbital velocity to derive sufficient aerodynamic lift from the atmosphere to support itself. At this point, air density is about 1 over 2,200,000 density on the surface of the Earth. As certain parameters such as solar flux, magnetic index, and others are varied, the calculated altitudes vary. However, the boundary to space is set at 100 kilometers for ease of use. See, they're always looking for the easy way to do things. So they really don't, what they're trying to tell you is, shit, we just got a general idea. We don't really fucking know.
Well, Hans Haubold, I think that's how you pronounce it, the senior program office at the UN Office for Outer Space Affairs.
Yeah.
Said that atmosphere is too fuzzy for a physics-based definition to ever be established. I got the link right here. So they don't know. They have no idea.
Look what they say at 73 miles. The midpoint of gradual transition over tens of kilometers from relatively gentle winds of the Earth's atmosphere to more violent flows of charged particles in space.
Oh, geez.
Violent flows of charged particles.
How can you have charged particles in a vacuum?
That's what they're saying. This study examines space between 100 kilometers and 150 kilometers. There's a gradual transition from the magnetospheric to the thermospheric control. The area is important.
Yeah.
I mean, it's their own data, man.
Yeah, it's absolute speculation. I think a lot of people have a difficult time differentiating between science and absolute abject speculation. I mean, they say it's science, but it isn't.
Here's the interesting thing. They say here at 76 miles is when NASA's mission control as the point of it. they use this for mission control as a point of entry at which atmospheric drag becomes noticeable. Now get this. If this is true, which is not, think about this. If the space shuttle was going beyond this, 100, 200, 300 miles, right? That means that damn vehicle has so much attitude adjustment, pitch, and yaw control that's so refined and detailed, where this computer is so advanced. That means that when the space shuttle got out beyond these altitudes, it should have been wobbling and spinning out of fucking control, like somebody who's right-handed trying to throw a fucking touchdown pass with their fucking left hand, blindfolded. Because we know what that football would look like if they tried to throw that ball that way.
Yeah,
that's what they're trying to say. That's what they're trying to say. They're saying that the space shuttle had and then think about this. It's supposed to have, the space shuttle is supposed to look like a high-speed aircraft, right? So that means, why did you design it that way for it to go into an environment where none of that shit would even apply? It doesn't matter if it's got wings or anything like that. It's not going to fly correct because it doesn't have anything to push off of. You'd have to be pressing all kinds of buttons and jets just to keep it aligned. And they're trying to tell us that this fucking thing could dock with the fucking ISS with surgical fucking precision every fucking time.
Yeah. Well, you said that
just out of control.
You made the key statement: propulsion. I mean, what's it pushing against?
Nothing. But like they said, there's atmosphere up there, which means that's not fucking space. That's not space.
They need to get their story straight. Yeah, like I was saying before when we were talking about this, I mean, they cloud these. This isn't science at all. This is absolute story, just those storytelling, Robert. That's all it is. They masquerade it under science, but it isn't science. I mean, science, you have to follow the scientific method, right?
Yep.
Well, it's quite simple. Give me the hypothesis. Most of these people don't even know what a scientific hypothesis is. You ask them what an independent variable is, you get that deer in the headlights look.
Yeah.
I mean, don't tell me stories. This is an important point. Like it's fairy tale sisters, paleontology, anthropology, archaeology, geology, evolutionary biology, for goodness sakes, theoretical physics, non-experimental, astrophysics, astronomy, and cosmology aren't science. They can't form scientific hypotheses. They can't do it. They don't have viable independent variables to test. If you can't even formulate a scientific hypothesis, is it science? I mean, what are we talking here? Right?
And it's interesting, they show this picture, right, of what the Earth is supposed to look like. And you see how they make it much smaller to make it look like they're really way out here?
Yeah.
All of this shit is in the atmosphere, man.
Nice drawings.
I mean, look at this. They got the Kármán line, 62.5 miles, way far the hell out from the Earth, when we all know the Kármán line is way closer than that.
Right.
Inside our atmosphere. I mean, this is data being put out by another university.
Yeah, nice drawings, nice artist work. I mean, let's get into some science then. That's what I want to ask them. Where's the science at?
Their science takes them to maybe 75, 80 miles, man. That's it. Don't go any further than that. They can't. And this goes back to what Don Pettit says. He said in his Tyranny of the Rocket equation that if the Earth were any bigger, nothing would ever leave the surface of the Earth. No rocket.
Yeah, I listened to it. I listened to it. That's what
he said. He said if the Earth were any bigger, nothing would leave the surface of the Earth. Now, according to NASA scientists and the USGS, is the Earth not expanding? Right? The Earth is expanding, right?
According to them?
According to them, it's expanding, right? It's getting bigger, right?
Oh my, I don't know how they come up with that.
You know, they're saying the Earth is somehow getting bigger. There's more land out there. There's land masses popping up. You got tectonic plate shiftings. You got land masses spreading out. It's just everything that they're putting out contradicts one other area of science.
Well, it contradicts common sense. I mean, they say, you know, space is expanding at what? 93
The 93 million miles a second.
Yeah, okay. My question is, what is it expanding into?
They don't know. all Soho could tell me was we're heading. It's expanding away from us, and we're heading in the opposite direction. So where is everybody else going? Why are we going in the opposite direction?
Yeah.
Space is expanding at 93 million miles a second away from us. Then why are we going in the opposite direction?
I don't know, and I would really like to know. To expand, you're going to have to expand into something else. So until you tell me what that something else is, it's time to clean the bathroom. Because
dude, check out these altitudes, man. Look at this chart. According to this, a sampling of suborbital vehicles, right? Look at where these different countries, right? United States, everyone's at the fucking Kármán line, dude.
Yeah.
Except for this one here, right here, Space Loft. I don't even know what the hell that is, to be honest with you. I'm going to look it up, though. 99.5 miles. But everything else is right at the Kármán line, dude.
Yeah.
They can't get way beyond that. I mean, I can understand this here. I guarantee you, give me a week. I'll debunk where this actually really is. give me a week. I'll debunk. Oh, I even know who this company is, to be honest with you. And I can tell you here's something right now. Arca?
Right.
Arca? Ain't no, they still in the test stages of their fucking vehicles. They ain't no way they got something 112 miles.
Yeah.
I know who this company is. Give me a week. I'll debunk these two.
That's a nice chart.
Oh, here you go. Check out Worldview. 18.6 miles on a balloon. On a balloon, dude. Why would this even be considered part of a space document? You know, this hadn't even launched. It's 2017. This one here in Swiss space. They say they're going to 62.5 miles, the Kármán line.
Yeah.
This XS1 from DARPA, 2010. They don't even know how far this thing went.
Yeah, like I said, it's a nice chart. I can get like that and put some numbers in there. I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous. Not to beat a dead horse, but going back to the second law of thermodynamics, I mean, it's over. What we're talking about here, Robert, is we're talking about religion and pseudoscience priests telling us the way things are. That's what we got. All those so-called disciplines I mentioned, they're pseudoscientists. So-called modern science is a religion. I mean, materialism, realism, methodological naturalism. As a matter of fact, it's blind, deaf, and scientifically falsified religion, right? Because the quintessential attribute of a religion is belief without evidence, correct?
Yeah, you got it.
So while materialism and realism's quintessential attribute is there's a world of matter outside perception and consciousness, right? That's what the whole ball of wax is. That there's a world of matter outside what you perceive or consciousness. So I want them to provide me the experiment that validates it. Because there isn't. Because quantum mechanics has already shown and falsified materialism and realism. I mean, it's over. It's over. And if anyone has any question, they can go ahead and take the Quantum Randy Challenge. And they can also get a feather in their cap Nobel Prize. All they have to do is prove naive realism and local realism is true and not observation dependent. That's all they need to do.
This other document you sent me titled sources of stellar energy, and the theory of the internal constitution of stars. This guy, Nicholas
Oh, yeah.
Kozrev, look at what he says, dude. He says, prior to that, he says the surfaces coincide. Let's go up here.
Okay.
Let's go right here.
You got the Russell Hertzsprung diagram too.
Yeah. He says instead of the transection line given by the heat output surface and the heat radiation surface, stars fill an area in the plane of density and temperature. The surfaces coincide, being proof of the fact that there is only one condition, the radiation condition. Hence, stars generate their energy not in any reactions. I mean, there's no sort of stellar or fusion reaction at all going on with a star.
Correct.
Right? Now, you know, see how they always tell us stars are generating all this fucking energy and shit and all these particles and all this. This guy's saying nothing is happening.
No, yeah, he says
nothing. He says nothing. They ain't generating nothing. Their energy, there's no reaction, no physical gases, chemical or cosmic reaction going on. He says stars are machines directly generating radiations. The observed diagram of heat radiation, the relation mass luminosity radius, cannot be explained by standard physical laws.
Yeah. I think this was in 1940. This guy was imprisoned under. Yeah. That's what it says. But I think that this paper was translated. I got a hold of this some years ago. He was imprisoned in Russia. I don't know, Stalin, somebody, I can't recall. But he did his doctoral thesis on the standard model of the sun. He just utterly destroyed the standard model and took E equals MC squared, Mr. Einstein, I should call him. We can get into him in a few minutes. And just utterly destroyed it.
Says that in 1936 he was imprisoned for 10 years without judicial interdiction by the communist regime in the USSR. Set free in 1946, he completed the draft of this doctoral thesis and published it in Russian in the local bulletin of the Crimean branch of the observatory.
Yeah.
Throughout the subsequent years, he continued to expand upon his thesis. Although this research was started in the 1940s, it remains relevant today because the basis here is observational data on stars of regular classes. This data has not changed substantially during the intervening decades. So they probably threw this guy in jail because he was like, you need to shut the hell up. You can't be telling people this, man. We're trying to tell them that all this stuff is real. See, now here's what's interesting about this. Here it is. I put out that first video, right? Artificial stars, right?
Nothing. Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
Now, I hadn't even known about this paper, and I had immediately made that assumption. Everybody was like, well, how do you explain back in the ancient Egyptian days? Who you're saying that they created artificial? No, I'm not saying they created it. Somebody else did the shit. But now this paper supports what I'm saying. This paper supports it. And I'm not trying to take claim that, yeah, he says stars are machines. I know it's a figure of reference that he's using. But it goes on to say stars exist in just those conditions where classical laws are broken and a special mechanism for the generation of energy becomes popular. Those conditions are determined by the main direction of the diagram and the main point located in a direction. Physical coordinates of the main point have been found using observational data. This is some interesting shit, man.
Oh, the paper utterly destroys the standard model of the sun, and we already did that with the second law just a little while ago. So
this is crazy, dude.
Yeah,
I'm a lot of the stuff I'm looking at for the first time. Energy, he says, energy radiated by the sun and stars into space is maintained by special sources, which should keep stars radiating light during at least a few billion years. You hear what he says?
Yeah,
that's crazy, dude. That is crazy. He's saying energy radiated by the sun and stars into space is maintained by special sources, which should keep stars radiating light during at least a few billion years. So the fact that when astronauts claim to go up in space, or you send up a high altitude balloon and the camera pans up to look at the rest of the sky and you don't see shit, is he basically saying that we're out of time. Shit, then already the light's already gone out. The light's already gone. We already passed a few billion years. The light's gone.
Yeah,
that's why you don't see anything, because it's gone.
Yeah, and then you get down the rabbit trail of light or electromagnetic waves. It gets pretty convoluted when you start to get into quantum mechanics and electromagnetic waves and the wave duality property of light. I mean, I really don't know what people are thinking. I guess they're thinking the wave function is some type of wave that you can measure or something. I don't know. But yeah, he destroys the standard model here. Like I said, we already destroyed it a little while ago with the second law. So it's an interesting paper to go ahead and read through it.
Yeah.
And see his conclusions and how he figured all this stuff out in the 1940s, by the way.
I'm going to give this to everybody. Let them read it for themselves. They can have it.
Right. So we've taken sort of the sun, the standard model of the sun to the woodshed, outer space to the woodshed. What's left? Hey, did you read that, the naval railgun?
Oh, you want me to read that?
Yeah, the naval railgun. I think right, this one, I usually stay away. This one is one of those proofs where.
Do we want to play the video?
I don't. You can if you want.
Yeah, let me play the video. Let me see what's up. Let me play the video so everybody can see it.
Okay. Pentagon officials believe that this gun could well change the future of military combat. At first glance, the railgun looks like a high-tech naval cannon, but instead of gunpowder to fire this bullet, it uses a magnetic pulse. And it's unlike anything being used in contemporary warfare, requiring a 25-megawatt power plant, enough to power nearly 19,000 homes. The electromagnetic gun catapults a football-sized projectile at Mach 6. That's more than 4,500 miles per hour. Once fired, that projectile becomes the military version of an asteroid, obliterating everything in its path. And unlike conventional bullets, which lose velocity from the moment they're fired, these projectiles gain speed as they go out through the barrel. With a range of up to 125 miles, the railgun can fire a round that would travel from Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia in under 2 minutes. Naval researchers hope that the railgun will not just be a potent offensive weapon, but can also help defend military bases and Navy ships.
Because of our ability to launch these projectiles at great distance and with high accuracy, we're going to actually be able to engage ship to ship again in a way that we haven't in several decades in order to defend the Navy and to carry out its mission of taking other nations out of action and controlling the seas.
Another adaptation? The rounds designed for the railgun can also be used in a host of other weapons, vastly extending their range and power.
You can fire out of naval guns, you can fire out of army guns, you can scale the guns, which provide you an awful lot of different launchers with a very, very deep magazine, of very, very cheap, relatively, rounds, which will allow you to track incoming aircraft or missiles or ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and potentially shoot them down like a big shotgun shell.
The Pentagon is putting some $800 million into the railgun and its specialized bullets. The technology could give the U.S. a significant strategic advantage in surface combat against enemy combatants on land and at sea, including Chinese and Russian anti-ship missiles.
They were build a missile at $15 million to target a $15 billion aircraft carrier. Now we're able to defend that carrier at a fraction of the cost of what it costs to build a missile. We have changed the equation back to our advantage.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah, the interesting part about this weapon is a line-of-sight weapon. It fires a non-self-propelled projectile, basically a bullet, with a range of 125 miles, Robert. So
what you're saying is line of sight. You have to see what it is you're shooting at and aim it at it. Yeah. Which means that the 8 inch per square mile is bullshit. So
Yeah.
when you look at this, like, distance to miles. So here's the other link you sent me. When it
Yeah, this is a good one. This explains it real well. Go ahead, put 125 miles, and then we'll give the
125 miles, right? Viewer height.
go with 100 feet. We'll take the rail gun up to 100 feet off the deck of, and that's
All right, so 100 feet off the deck of, say, like an aircraft carrier or some shit, right?
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so when we go to calculate, according to this, the horizon distance should be 12.25 miles.
Correct.
The hidden amount is 8,476 feet.
Now here's the important one, Robert. Go to bulge height.
And the bulge height is 2,604 feet, miles 2,605 feet.
Okay, scroll down a little bit. Okay, you see that bulge height right there? So
This right here.
yeah, so the ball earthers need to explain how a non-self-propelled projectile can negotiate a bulge height of 2,604 feet, ascent and descent, traveling at Mach 7, and hit a target that's hidden behind 8,476 feet of curvature without violating every ballistics and physical law and common sense known to mankind.
There you go. There you go, right there. We just found this out. We just did it. Everybody saw this. The railgun has a range of 125 miles. We're looking at 100 feet. Say it was being fired from offshore. Right?
No, it's just 100 feet above sea level, you know, right up to the rail.
Well, let's do this average. Let's just say the gun is on the ground somewhere in, say, Patuxent River. Let's say it's on the ground. So let's just say, let's see 10 feet, right? 10 feet. Viewer height is 10 feet. You got to fire something 125 miles away. Here you go. Horizon distance 3.87 miles. Hidden amount 9,881 feet. Bulge height 26, about the same.
Yeah, it's the same. The bulge height's going to be the same.
So what? So it doesn't work on a ball Earth.
Well, unless the round can go through water and earth to hit a target that they can't see.
It ain't gonna be going through the earth because it's gonna be going through somebody's house and somebody's basement or some shit, coming back up out of the ground and going back up above the ground again.
Yeah, see, this argument right here eliminates this argument. I know it's hilarious. This argument eliminates the canard of refraction, looming, mirages. It's over. This is over.
Yeah, ball Earth, they couldn't be able to debate this.
No, or they try to, or they try to say that it's an indirect fire weapon, and I'm sitting there, what?
Indirect fire? You just saw the video.
Yeah. You
just saw the video. What they said.
Well, this bullet, the projectile contains no explosives. It's just a bullet.
That's just a bullet. That's it. It's just a high energy bullet. That's it.
That's all it is.
It's just a high energy bullet. That's all. Wait.
Well,
Did they say it was like the size of a football field?
No. It's the size of a football.
Oh, size of a football. So they're firing a bullet out the size of a football. Okay.
Yeah, it's only 25 pounds.
Unbelievable. What's this document here?
Wait a second.
Assessing the validity of using actual navigation performance information for supporting designated flight inspection operations.
Oh, that's you know that one. That one's from NASA, I think. Yeah, don't worry about that. We already
Photography of the Salar.
Oh, the Salar.
So there's gravity field. Yeah, this shit looks a little complex.
Yeah, well, the Salar is, what is it? 100 miles across and 68 miles.
Yeah, that's that reflective pool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a floodplain, and it floods, and the water stays there for months. So how can water stay on a ball?
No, it shouldn't be able to stay like that.
Yeah, exactly. It should be flowing over the side.
You should see all kinds of waves and shit like that happening.
Well, it shouldn't stay there for all that long. And what is a flat surface? Did you see what they say that it was? Hold
Yeah,
on
they
a
said
second.
it is flat surface.
We jumped from the naval railgun. Hold on a second.
Wait, hold on. Let me go. What do you want me to go back to?
We were talking about, we can get to that here in a second. We can go back to the naval railgun, the indirect fire component, or the aspect that people bring up. It's real mind numbing. They think it's an artillery piece, but artillery uses HE and incendiary rounds, right? This round right here, it's not explosive. It has no gunpowder or chemical propellants at all. It only weighs 25 pounds. So you mean to tell me that, and it kills by it kills by speed. That's what its killing power is in.
Yeah, by the sheer force.
Yeah. Now, as an indirect fire weapon, it's going to lose all of its speed. And what's it going to do? Drop a piece of dead 25-pound weight next to you? Boy, that's real scary.
Yeah.
So indirect fire weapon, that's preposterous.
They spent a lot of money on this fucking thing too.
Yeah, and like I said, it eliminates the canard if you go down, the road of refraction and mirages and all that nonsense. This just takes it out to the woodshed and eliminates it. Just stick with this one. It's over.
This little Earth curvature bullshit. The Pythagorean proof of curvature for a ball with a radius.
Right. That one calculator is the best one I came across. It's outstanding.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. What was this? This was entropy.
Yeah, we already discussed that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna share this in the chat with the guys who are listening. Let me share this with these guys.
And I think the Solar one, that's kind of old, but I don't know. I mean, how do you explain a geometrically flat surface on a ball? I mean,
You can't.
I don't know.
You can't.
You can have mountains, you can have depressions, you can have a myriad of topographical features on a sphere, but what you can't have a geometrically flat plane. You can't have it. There's a contradiction.
Yeah. Now, what's this one document you sent me? An experimental test of non-local realism.
Oh, I think that was one of the documents that we were using to debunk Einstein, which is pretty easy.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you want to, it's a little bit off topic, but I mean, if we want to go into that.
Yeah, we can talk about that one another time. I want to look at this carefully because it was actually
Okay.
You get a chance to read this. I want a chance to read this. This is the Einstein one that you talked about. Experimental
the
of Einstein
paradox.
Okay, the new violation of Bell's inequalities.
Yeah, he tried to debunk quantum mechanics, and quantum mechanics debunked him.
we can choose another time to talk about that one.
Yeah, we could. Yeah. Local
hidden variable theories. Okay.
Yeah, we're still into that.
Yeah, this is the Bell theory. I'll do another hangout where we can talk about the whole Bell paradox and Polinsky-Rosen paradox. Now, what about this one? Can quantum mechanical description of physical reality be considered complete?
Oh, that's still back on the Einstein. That's from Physical Reviews in 1935.
Okay, yeah, well.
Yep. That's just his thought experiment. Well, Einstein, he had to get rid of quantum mechanics. He had to debunk it, because if he didn't, there's only two choices. Either information's traveling faster than the speed of light. I don't know how they come up with the information. But
well, you've heard Derek Dollard, right? He says he changed his whole idea about the speed of light. He says light doesn't travel in free space.
Exactly.
There's no movement of light. So the whole idea of the speed of light, yeah, Einstein might have been able to do it in a laboratory, especially when he conducted the photoelectric experiment. But you're doing that on Earth.
Yeah.
How could they have done that in a vacuum? I mean, you have to have a complete perfect vacuum, and you can't have a complete perfect vacuum.
Yeah. Well,
So how could you
the speed of light,
how fast light is traveling in space?
yeah, it can't. The speed of light calculation anyway is the average two-way speed. You can't get a one-way speed of light. It's a begging the question fallacy.
Well, yeah, you heard Eric Dollar when he says we don't know how fast it's traveling. He goes, the light could just be minutes old, seconds old. You don't know.
Yeah, it's instant. It could be instantaneous. No one
Yeah,
knows.
yeah, exactly. He said it could be instantaneous. You really don't know. He
Yeah,
goes, so the whole theory of E equals mc squared, energy equals mass times the speed of light squared, is a fallacy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Ain't nothing. He goes, ain't nothing traveling at 186,000 miles a second in a vacuum. Nothing.
Well, that just goes back. You can debunk pretty much all of classical physics just with a simple experiment. It's called the double slit experiment, Young's double slit experiment. You can debunk most of Einstein's through with quantum mechanics. It's over. It really is. I mean,
yeah, there's one paper I just pulled up where in 1935, Einstein and his co-authors claimed to show that quantum mechanics led to logical contradictions. The objections exposed the theory's strangest predictions. Yeah, I need to do another show when we just talk about this specifically.
Oh yeah, it'll be over quick.
Yeah, because this is stuff I'm actually learning right now. I'm confused. I got some interviews. Actually, I got 2 interviews set up with 2 associate professors from 2 universities in the United States. One actually has a YouTube channel. He actually created a model, a computer model, where he showed as a matter of fact, I got to show it to you guys too. I got to show it to you. You ain't gonna believe it. You ain't gonna believe it. Hang on a second. The model he created, and again, I'm gonna do that on another show too. But he showed a stick figure standing on the earth, right, in the center, and it revealed a view of the nighttime sky. The plane of the earth was flat. He looked up at the nighttime sky, and you could see all the constellations. They were all rotating at a specific level, and then it zooms out to show which layers were actually rotating. But guess what? The center surface of the flat plane Earth was stationary. So I called him up. I called him up. I said, "Hey, I'd like to talk to you about this model." And he called me back, and I said, "Well, what were you thinking when you created that computer model?" He says, "Oh, I was just, I was sticking along with the lines of, the fixed frame of reference, to kind of show people, I'm not into astrophysics, but I wanted to show the physical properties of what we're actually seeing and observing, if you were standing on the earth and looking up at the nighttime sky." I said, "So would you believe that the surface plane is stationary?" He says, "Well, you think it's moving?" That's what he said. I swear to God, I didn't record it because he called me, so I wasn't counting on the call.
Right.
And he told me that he was going to be really busy this summer and he had a lot of conferences and everything to do, but to send him an email and that he tried to get back with me, and I told him I wanted to record the call, because I got people that, I go to school where we're all learning this, we're trying to understand it, and I have other people who follow me who want to understand this as well. And could he dedicate anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes? He goes, "Yeah, sure, why not? Why don't you look at some of the videos on my channel and a lot of the models, and yeah, we can talk about that one specifically if you'd like to." And I said, "That'd be great, sir." And that was it. He said, "Yeah, I look forward to your email." But when I asked him, so, I'm looking at your model and, you just have it fixed. You're talking about a fixed frame of reference. So you're saying that the center is not moving. He says, "Of course not. Didn't you see the video?" I said, "Yes, sir. I saw it. I didn't see any rotation. I only saw rotation up in atmospheres." He goes, "Well, that's the real perceptual view."
Well, of course it is. He's talking about the lack of the Coriolis effect, right?
Yeah, that's basically what he did on the video. But it was interesting because you got people out there, on these channels saying, "Oh no, you can't feel the rotation, you can't see it or anything." Yeah, of course we're moving around, but here you have this physics professor from Penn State,
right,
generating a computer model for his students that he gives in his physics courses, showing them this model. But you got guys out there who are not physicists who are saying, of course the earth is rotating, you dumbass. You flat earthers. You're so stupid. You're so stupid. You know, I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. Whatever.
Well, you could just go to Aries Failure or Michelson-Morley or Sagnac, or just go to the Coriolis effect, for crying out loud. Or the lack of the Coriolis effect. I mean, it's over.
But there was something I want to show people before, you know, because I don't want to go too long on this. I want to show everyone something I saw today with Northrop Grumman. Okay. Now I'm not going to say that this definitively proves. Okay. I'm not going to say it definitively proves there are 0 satellites at all, but let's just put it this way. It's more information. It's definitely more information to prove that whatever they got flying up there at high altitude, damn sure it ain't communicating with a satellite. That's for damn sure. It is not communicating with a satellite. Let me try to hang on here for a second, because I did this. Northrop Grumman. So let me type in Northrop Grumman's. This is what we're going to talk about. It's the RQ-4 Block 40 Global Hawk. Okay, let me pull up their shit, hang on for a second. Beacon. Northrop. See if I can pull this up here. I think it's this one. I'm not sure. Hang on for a second. I don't think it's this one. No, that's not it. Let me type in their website real quick here. Actually on their website. And it's a really interesting video illustration of exactly what the Global Hawk does and how it communicates.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, the fact that this is just so obvious, it baffles me. I mean, it really does. I mean, I hope I'm just not part of some secret episode of Punked. I really do, man. Because you can't put all this information out there in open source like this and don't expect people to run with it and say, holy shit, look at this, look at that. It's out in the open, it's out in the open. You know, I think everyone's just looking for these secrets that they think are just going to reveal themselves out in the open. There are a few that will probably be put out there, but most of the information is just available.
Yes,
on,
it is.
you know, the company's website. Hang on for a second here. And they show a series of videos of exactly how this thing actually, let me close some of these windows here. Okay. So here we go. We got the Global Hawk. Now you would think that anything flying up at high altitude in the sky, right? They even claim that the U-2 is communicating with satellites, right? But here's the interesting thing. It's Lockheed who has U-2, Northrop has Global.
Right.
Right? And
Northrop Grumman's Global Hawk unmanned aircraft system.
Here you go.
Developed for the U.S. Air Force, the Global Hawk is currently in service flying missions worldwide. Global Hawks enhance the military and civilian authorities' ability to prevail in all types of operations by providing near real-time ISR data.
Hang on a second. Because there was one I wanted to show everybody that's very interesting. Okay, the broad area maritime surveillance. You got to see this. This is interesting. Let me start this video. Everybody can see this. Actually, hold on, people. I'm not gonna play it there. I'm not gonna play it there. I'm gonna play it on YouTube, so everybody can see this bad boy. Bear with me real quick here. I don't think governments will ever come out and say that there's no satellites up there. I don't think they're ever gonna say it.
No, they ain't gonna say that.
No, because they know that we don't have the resources to prove it. But when you come up with videos like this, you got to ask yourself, you know, that whole commercial, things that make you go, Well, check this out. This is Northrop. Check out this video. There ain't no sound to this bad boy either. They just, I don't know, they didn't even want to put no music to it. But check this out. So it's just, you know, their marketing and advertising video for their products. So you got all these things out there flying. You got all these communications. You got the P-2 Hawkeye flying out there off of aircraft carriers, which is supposed to be handling all communications, right, for the military from these aircraft carriers. They have to launch that Hawkeye before any combat aircraft leave the fucking deck of that damn aircraft carrier. This thing here, this other spy plane leaves as well, so it can communicate with the rest of the fleet and whatever else is in the air. Now, when I was in the Navy for 8 years, I used to always question that, because I used to always go on the flight deck of the LPH and wonder to myself, why are these things flying up in the air? Don't we have satellites?
Oh, you're talking about like...
No, they would always send up these communication aircraft before any other aircraft would leave the deck of the ship, you know? And I always...
Is that an AWACS?
Yeah, it was an A. Yeah, it's the AWACS. So when you look at look at this video here, they're showing what's on the ground, what's in the water, right? So you got to ask yourself, shit. Now you know why they got to have command centers with all these fucking people there.
Oh yeah.
Because when you look at the size of the military, all these people communicating with different units. It's not satellites, man. Now watch this. Watch this. This made me laugh when I saw it. So here you go. You have a Warthog here. You got another air. They're all firing a signal at this mountain. What they're doing, I have no idea. But somehow, here, watch this now. Watch this. It's gonna make you laugh, bro. So you got a Gulfstream. That's a Gulfstream 650, right? They specially outfit this bad boy to do some. Who knows what the hell that damn thing is doing? Now these things can get to about 80,000 feet, dude. The range the altitude range they say that they list is around 60,000 feet.
Right. I
looked at the technical specs. They could get this bat on a good day. They could get this bad boy up to 80,000 feet.
Huh.
And it's acting as a glider.
Right.
A glider.
A glider at 80,000.
I don't understand that. Look at this. No. Check this out. Now, what is the Global Hawk communicating with?
Why do they need to do that?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. You saw what those planes were communicating with the Global Hawk, right? So the Global Hawk is flying at higher altitudes above the combat aircraft, and it's handling all the communications for everything else that's operating around 30, 40, 50,000 feet. This thing is flying. They're all unmanned. That's what I've been telling people. They got 33 U-2s in the fleet. Half of them are being flown with no people inside. And the Global Hawks, they all unmanned. Every single one of them, there are no people inside. They just got nothing but comm gear, geospatial imagery. They do everything. That's your second satellite platform right here.
Right.
Second satellite. Dude, they got IR, thermal, everything. So when you see videos and you see footage of what you think is being taken from space, guess what it is? It's a zoomed out view, making you believe that fucking thing is being taken from the ISS or some satellite.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
It's a wide angle shot, dude.
Oh yeah, I don't trust
It's a
any
wide-angle
videos
shot.
or any of their pictures.
They're saying that this Global Hawk communicates with all these aircraft. That's how they handle their communications. So what happened to the satellites?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
This is what you need for a broad area maritime surveillance. They don't
Yeah,
list satellites in here. They ain't no
I
satellite
didn't know.
picture.
I didn't know that Global Hawk was unmanned.
It's unmanned. I mean, you could put a real small person in there, a midget, but I don't think they survive. But they're all unmanned, dude. All unmanned.
Yeah, that's
They are all unmanned. I don't want to play this whole video. You guys get the general picture of that shit.
right,
All
right.
unmanned, dude. I mean, here's
Yeah,
just
that's
yeah. Everybody can go to that website. I'm gonna put it in the chat for everybody so they can have it. Damn, who the fuck? I'm looking at the chat. Somebody banned Jeranism?
Did you ban them?
I ain't banning nobody, dude. I ain't in chat. I don't even know who the hell. People got hammers or some shit? Come on, man. Whoever out there, if that's a real Jaren, let him do what he said. Let him say whatever he's gonna say. I'm not paying attention to it right now. But here goes the technical sheet for the Global Hawk.
Right.
And I've been going over this thing, man. This thing is incredible. This thing is incredible, dude. Now, look at this.
Yeah.
You got a communications antenna in here. Look where it's pointing. Now, you would think that this thing would have to point up in the sky, right? That does look like a satellite, right? What's E19? Let me see what E19 is. E19. They have it in the nomenclature. What the hell it is? E19. Let me see what E19 is.
Is it down on the side?
Yeah, it's right here. It's right here. E19 is a 1.21 meter wide KU band SATCOM antenna.
Is that DirecTV satellite?
Dude, they say E19 is a 1.2 meter wide KU band SATCOM antenna. SATCOM. Dude, it's got a video camera on it. It's got everything, dude. So when you want to, NASA uses these damn things for weather, bro. For weather. They got a SATCOM RF assembly, SATCOM high-powered amplifier. So my question is, aren't these SATCOM antennas supposed to be pointed up in the sky at like 45 degrees or some shit like that?
Well, why would they need to have them in the first place if there were satellites? What's the point?
That's my point. Is that why the fuck is this thing taking up space inside the nose cone of this thing?
Yeah, why is the entire plane taking up space? I mean,
this is crazy, dude.
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous. There's logical inconsistencies at every turn.
Now I was reading Northrop Grumman's website and NASA and the DoD. They're talking about having 100 of these things in their fleet, man. 100 flying around the world nonstop.
How much are they?
About 230 million a pop.
Nice.
Yeah, 230 million a pop. They can fly for about 30 hours. 30 hours. So while one is about when one of them is about probably got 3 hours left, you launch another one up there to replace this one, and you just keep rotating. They do the same thing with U2.
Right.
They do the same, but there's only 33 U2s out in the fleet. Half of them are unmanned. You only need 10 to cover the entire Earth. You get 100 of these, you got better cell phone communications, television, everything with this thing right here. 230 million. But guess what? NASA needs 19 billion. That's it. They need 19 billion to go to Mars. Shit, Mars could be fucking down in some cave somewhere in Latin America.
Did you see their video? The NASA guy, he was on video talking about how dangerous the radiation belts are.
Yeah, I saw that. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Where he said we need to solve these problems before we send man through these belts.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Well, question: didn't you send man through these belts through the entire Apollo program? You know, remember the moon missions? By chance?
Yeah. Well, I talked about the whole moon thing, about it being closer, and there was a possibility that if it was less than 100 miles, if the moon really is less than 100 miles, they waited during a specific time of year for where the moon could be closer to do the launch. But then you got other people saying that the moon may not be a celestial body you can land on.
Yeah, it's
one guy brought up a really important issue. He said that if the moon is where they claim it to be, then it should be so fucking hot to where those little acrylic Gore-Tex type of boots that they were wearing when they claim to step on the moon, they should have literally burned up. They should have burned up.
I got a question, Robert.
But you know what NASA claims the temperature of the moon is? 256 degrees in the sunlight, minus 256 degrees in the shade. But what's interesting about that, that's only 50 degrees more than where the ISS is, which means the moon is either higher or lower. And what you and I just talked about with regard to they claimed heat being ejected from the sun, we should either be freezing our asses off or burning up. Period.
Yeah. I got another question.
I believe the moon's closer, and then that means that they didn't have to go through any kind of radiation field.
Yeah, well, I got another question, Robert. You know, the moon reflects light, right?
That's what they claim.
Well, I see moonlight. I can, go out on some nights, it's almost like daylight outside, right?
True.
Because the moon's supposedly a sphere and reflecting the light off the sun, correct?
Yeah.
Well, if it's a sphere, a convex object, how in the world can it reflect light uniformly in all directions? How can it do that? Only flat or concave surfaces can do so, because as soon as you shine a light on a convex object, all the lines go perpendicular to that object. It's like, get a stadium light and shine that light on a baseball. I mean, yeah, you can see the baseball; it's illuminated, sure, but is it reflecting anything?
What I'm confused about is that I've seen a few videos where someone shot a video of the moon, and you could see something on the other side.
Oh, like it's I see that.
You can see another body on the other side.
Yeah, stars are shining through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was another planet or some shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. But my question is, how is it reflecting light to begin with?
I don't think it's reflecting any light at all.
It can't reflect and did you see? I was watching some experiments with the temperature of moonlight being colder. I mean, come on.
It's interesting you say that, because when I remember in the first Gulf War, when we were in Saudi Arabia conducting ground ops, it was that day there was a sandstorm. It was hot as hell too, and then that evening the skies cleared up and it was a full moon, and we were waiting to be picked up and extracted, and we were laying down in the sand. Now that sand during the day was hot as hell.
Right.
I laid down. I was laying prone on the sand, just laying there, hiding behind a sand dune. And I'd say within about 30 minutes, dude, all the heat from my body got sucked out of my body, dude, and I got hypothermia.
Oh yeah, the Earth will
Here's,
suck that right out of you, man.
here's the interesting thing. It was a full moon. And thinking back to that, I'm thinking to myself, I've seen people do those experiments. They said that the moon is actually projecting some sort of heat down, you know, from its, you know, the light that's being cast from the moon. But thinking back to it, when I touched the sand was cold. So I'm thinking, now I'm thinking to myself now that the moon is actually drawing heat from the earth to have it to light it up.
It's drawing it from somewhere. It's illuminating. It's definitely not coming from the sun. Definitely not. Number one, it can't reflect light. If it's a sphere, it's not reflecting light uniformly. No way. That's a physical impossibility.
Yeah.
Number two, there's a boatload of defying the moonlight.
Yeah.
Other than the control. I mean, comes here in Shangri-La because it's not. I don't know. Like I told you, I wouldn't believe them if they told me the air pressure in their tires. I'm at that point right now. I don't really trust what anybody says. They're gonna have. I'm in Missouri. They're gonna have to show me, and they better test it. I want to see the test. We're talking science, right?
Yeah.
I want to see the hypotheses. I want to see the experiments, and I want them to highlight the independent variable that they're using. I don't want to see independent variables of eyelids in their imagination. So that's where we're at. I don't trust them. I don't trust anything they say because everything is either scientifically or logically unsound or a direct contradiction to, and like you were saying, to already established known scientific principles or laws. So it's Shangri-La, Robert.
I know since I've been in class, I've just been trying to figure something out, man, with regard to why people claim they're seeing things, you know, meteors and shit falling out of the sky. And then I'm looking at some of these rocket failure videos where literally, when you look at them really close, especially the older ones, you know, there are people who are going to say, well, yeah, there were some systems failures. Maybe the chemical composition was not right. The rocket maybe wasn't, you know, stable enough. But when you look at enough of those rockets are hitting something.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
It looks like, I'm dead serious. I looked at one really close, and it looked like it hit, the nose of it hit something, and then it immediately started to take a downward turn back to the earth. And of course, you know, it hit something, so it exploded up in the sky.
Right.
But every rocket failure launch I've ever seen where they've gotten to altitude, they don't show you the telemetry data. There are a few that show you the telemetry data, but they're hitting something.
Yeah.
Well, they're hitting something. I just don't know what it is, man. I don't know. For the life of me, I don't know what it is.
Well, where's the telemetry data coming from? That's the first question.
Well, the telemetry data is all software based, man. You can fake that. You can fake that. You can fake it.
Yeah. Oh, easy.
And I showed the NASA's software vault, and they actually allow you to download the software for free to show you how to do it. It's just a simulation. And I don't know if anybody's seen this. My last video where I showed that little video collage slideshow of, dude, they got a damn hot air balloon, literally life size. It's literally a space shuttle. It's a space shuttle.
Out of a balloon?
A balloon. Yeah. I bullshit you not. It's a space shuttle, dude. Let me see if I can find the damn thing. Hold on.
Okay.
It's funny as hell, too. It's funny as hell, dude. Hang on for a second. Because I put it up in a slideshow. I was gonna dedicate it to somebody because somebody had said that, yeah, that's a Who's to say that the space shuttle is, because they make you watch from a distance, it's not a balloon? Let's see if I can find it. Oh yeah, I got it. Here you go. I'm gonna do the share screen for everybody. And if the real Jerry was looking, I want him to see this shit too, because he gonna laugh his ass off. I was hoping he had saw it.
Who's
I laughed
Jaron?
when I saw it. I was laughing my ass off. I was like, "Oh shit, Jerry may be right."
Well, didn't you ban him?
Huh?
Didn't you ban him?
No, I didn't ban him. They said somebody said that was a fake one. It was an imposter.
Oh,
It was an imposter. So check this out.
all right.
Look at it, dude. It's a balloon.
No way.
It's a balloon, dude. I bullshit. Look at the gondola below it. Look at the gondola.
I see it.
Now you tell me if you saw this shit from a distance, right? At Cape Canaveral, and it was attached to some rockets, what you believe to be rockets in a solid fuel tank, right? And like Jaron says, they got shit that they can project the fucking image out there to make it look like there was, rocket fuel being expended and all that kind of. I'm not saying that they're doing it like this. I'm not saying it. But when you look at this, right? Either these pictures were put out there for perfect fucking timing to punk us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or you gotta ask yourself, could Jaron be right? Because look.
Wait a second, is that a balloon up? It's hard to see. Is there a balloon inside it?
No. This is the gondola below it, pumping hot air inside this balloon.
Oh, I see. I got you now. I got you. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Oh my god.
Look at that, dude.
Where'd you get this photo from? Where's that from?
Dude, I just stumbled across it, man. I was looking for some other shit that I was doing, and I looked, and when this came up on my email, I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, did somebody just send this shit to me as a joke or something? And I looked at it really close, and I'm like, no way, dude. No way. Look at this picture. Look at this.
Unbelievable.
Now, if you saw that from a distance, right? If you saw that from a distance, let's just say, because we all see how slow that the space shuttle looks when it's taking off, right?
Right, sure.
And it don't take off the way an amateur rocket takes off. And most people will say, because it's got a heavy payload. Fuck that shit, dude. 50% fucking fuel. That fucking thing should be flying off the fucking launch pad. But let's just say, for argument's sake, do you think it would be possible that instead of putting hot air in here, right? You learn how to combine some other substance to get this motherfucker to literally get up in the air really fast and make it look like. Think about that.
I'm speechless even looking at it. Why would anyone do it to begin with?
Dude, this is a life-size fucking STS. That's a balloon, dude. It's life-size. Just look at this, man. I'm not making this shit up. I didn't do this, man.
Yeah, I
did not do this. This is crazy, bro.
Yeah.
When I saw this, I could not stop laughing. I just could not stop laughing.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's utterly ridiculous. Yeah.
Did I stop myself? Okay.
You're gonna have to
stop laughing, dude. I just could not stop laughing when I saw that.
Yeah. Send me that link.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you the pictures too. Wait. Justin Bernard was banned by Marcus. Come on, man. They got everybody banning each other and shit. What the hell's going on here, dude?
Who's in control out there?
I don't know, man. There's some infighting going on, man, in the chat. I don't know what's going on, but people got to forgive me, man. If guys are just banning each other or whatever have you. You give people control, man.
Oh, yeah.
They just go crazy.
Well, do they have any, maybe a couple quick questions or anything? Do they have?
Yeah, I mean, they can ask. Anybody got any questions for John?
I can't see it. I can't see it.
Pull up the watch page, bro.
Let me see. Where is the watch page?
Hold on. I'm going to send you the link in Skype right now. Click on this, but make sure you click on mute for the sound so there ain't no echo.
All right.
I just put it in Skype for you.
All right.
Yeah, if anybody's got any questions for John, feel free to ask. But the spammers here are all sent by NASA. Hutchison effect. Awesome. Thanks, Rock. That was the real Justin. Oh shit, the real Justin got banned. Oh shit. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Farouk Ali, my brother Farouk. Salam Farouk. Martin's out there. Oh yeah, Justin's not banned. It was a fake Justin, I guess. Marcus
Well,
is.
you got a lot. Who's identifying these fake people?
I'm not sure who else I gave moderating control to, because it was just gonna be me and you, because I couldn't watch it.
Right.
But there are guys out there who know who the imposters are.
Oh, do you have a lot of these?
Nah, you know what happens is that the creeps come out during the daytime and night. They don't like what's being talked about, but they don't want to put up their own information to say, hey, this is why I believe this, and here goes my proof based on what Robert put out or what Glowbusters put out, some other channel. And they ain't got nothing better to do. I figured we do it this time of day, they would be all at lunch and shit. But I guess it's fucking almost 2 o'clock where I'm at. Some of these motherfuckers don't go to sleep. They're waiting for they're like ninjas, man. They're in the darkness, man. Justin said it's the worst trolling he's ever seen.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. Which means that what's up, Robert? Some guy is trolling you live. Oh, they said somebody's trolling me live. I don't even know who it is. I don't care. Whoever it is. Yeah, they'll say how many 10 miles does it take to change a light bulb. Oh, well, dude, they're going crazy. Anybody got any questions for John? Feel free, ask.
How many people were in there, Robert?
Wait. I don't know actually. Let me see. Hold on. I'll tell you. Dude, 190 people. 190 people. 190 people are viewing. I don't know how many are in chat. Hey,
I seen that
question. Have you ever heard of the Hatbow? Hattybow? Hattybow. What is that? Can I
never heard of it.
Yeah, email me something, Tony Bell. I'm gonna shoot my email address to you. Anybody's got anything to email me? Shoot me an email. I don't care.
I seen a couple. I seen a couple. Electric Universe.
Hey, Bob from Glowbusters want to know where you're located. Like, are you in the United States or?
Yeah, I'm in the U.S. I'm in Missouri.
He's in Missouri, Bobby. China space station. Did you hear what happened to the China? Yeah, I just had someone on the show that the China's actually worried about their space station falling back down or some shit. Is that true?
Falling back down from what?
They supposedly got something up there, and they're worried about it staying up there.
It's not in the vacuum of space. I can tell you that. There is no vacuum.
I don't hear them talking about it.
Oh yeah, what's your thoughts on the Electric Universe? I think some of the points that they make are actually quite valid.
Look up this Hattie boy thing. I don't know what's this Hattie bow. I never heard of this before. Hattie bow.
No, I've never heard of that.
Hattie bow decode. Kill the messenger. Moon mysteries. Is our moon an illusion? Oh, I guess it has something to do with the moon. Hattie bow has something to do with the moon.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, I never heard of it. How many G's does an astronaut pull? Anybody else got any questions for John?
I mean, we covered a lot here, Robert. I mean,
yeah, we did. I want to cover the thing on Einstein though with quantum mechanics, bro, because I want to look at that a little bit more. We do a separate one on that one. Maybe do it next week.
Oh, we'll just go through the double slit experiment. Even Young's double slit experiment just absolutely trounces Einstein. You got Einstein, Newtonian mechanics, and Maxwell's theories. You got some big problems because they're all in direct contradiction to quantum mechanics. And you come up against quantum mechanics, I mean, that's actual science. I mean, we're talking about experiment after experiment. I got thousands of experiments. I mean, that's real science.
Bob wants to know if you're comfortable telling a little bit more about yourself to everybody out in the audience.
I would, but I've been having some problems, not only with you, Robert, the last time we tried to kick this off,
Yeah.
but you know, in the prevailing week or two, it's been troubling. Let me just say it's been troubling. What I can tell you
But you
is,
know how to get in Bob. You know how to get in touch with Bob, right?
Bob,
If it's okay with Bob, then I'll shoot you his email and you can talk to him yourself.
who's Bob?
From Globebusters.
Oh, okay, yeah, no problem, sure.
I'll shoot you the email right now. I'll shoot you Bob's email and you can chat with him yourself.
You're gonna throw it to me over Skype or
No. I'm gonna shoot it to you via email.
email? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no problem. Sure.
I can talk.
I really want Robert's thought about. Oh, they keep on talking about Haiti Bao. Oh, the Russian researcher. I never heard that term before.
Yeah, I never heard of it either.
And Robert, you said you were starting to get into some of the quantum mechanics, some of the experiments in your schoolwork.
Yeah, I mean because it's all online. There's a website for University of Colorado, where they everything that we're doing, and I'm going to show it to everybody too.
Okay.
We're doing everything through virtual experimentation.
Hey, Robert, can you do me a favor? I want to show you something on YouTube. One here. Wait one.
Okay.
See if you can pull up. Give me a second.
I just sent you Bob's contact data. Bob, check your email right now. You got John's email. You guys go ahead and communicate. Yeah, let me see if I can pull up that.
See if you could. 1 second. See if you could pull up the key experiments in wave particle duality. Quantum Mechanics 1. The key experiments in wave particle duality from Yale.
Okay, hang on.
See if you could type that in real quick and pull that up.
The key experiments
and wave particle duality.
Wave particle duality. With who? What university?
It's a Professor Ramamatori Shankar from physics. Oh, I'm sorry, from Yale.
Yale. Okay. Got it.
There's about don't quote me, there's about 4 in the series. Robert, start right there, and there you go. He's going to lay it all out for you.
You want to play that now or on the next show?
Yeah, it's kind of long. The show, the blocks of instructions are over an hour for those. Okay. This is just for you or whoever wants to pull them up. They are, if you want to get into quantum mechanics and you know, try to understand it. In my travels, I haven't found any better.
Okay.
He breaks it down for you. Now, there's a lot of formalism that might bore you to tears, but the concepts, I'll tell you what, you're going to be shaking your head walking away. That's how. I mean, they're really well put together. Obviously, this guy knows what he's talking about. I found a couple mistakes in what he was saying, but they are few and mainly conceptual. But he's on the mark. It's just for you or whoever wants to go ahead and pull them up. I think there's 4 or 5 in the series. Quantum Mechanics 1, the key experiments in wave particle duality. That's the first one. That really, you know.
Yeah, I want to show everyone how I'm actually learning all this stuff online at the university in the U.S. with Stanford and Columbia and Johns Hopkins. So
yes.
I'm gonna pull up what how I'm actually doing the actual classroom laboratory experimentation online.
Online, that's
it's
like a virtual type of thing.
It's absolutely incredible because they have everything from all science and mathematics. And can everybody see this?
Yeah, I'm seeing it, Robert.
Can they see it on the watch page? Yeah,
I'm
they can see
seeing
it.
it.
Yeah. So for anybody out there that wants to do their own videos and do their own physics experiments to prove or disprove something, just click on the topic, man. Physics, biology, chemistry, earth science, math. You can go to whatever grade level. It's all here. It's all here. I'm not saying that every online, all the universities are using this for online,
Right.
but you know, the programs that I'm enrolled in and registered for, we're doing alpha decay experimentation, balloons and buoyancy. We're doing bandwidth structure. We're doing what else? We're doing black body spectrum. There you go. I've been talking about that a lot. We're doing charges and fields. We're doing what else are we doing? We're doing light stuff too. We're doing density, all right, where you can actually change the density of a particular item and see what happens to it as you change its density. We're doing energy forms and changes. We're doing Faraday's electromagnetic lab, Faraday's law. We're doing fluid pressure and flow. We're doing gas properties. Here goes gravity and orbits, geometric optics, generators. What else are we doing? This one's interesting, the lunar lander. I've been playing around. I've been playing around with this, dude. I crashed this thing like 3 times. I'm like, okay, forget it. You can't land on the moon. I crashed it 2 times. I was like, you can't land on the moon, bro. Forget it. So then they have magnetics and compasses. You can do all these are all real virtual experiments that you would do if you were at a brick and mortar on campus, gonna do these experiments in person.
They didn't have these when I was in university, Robert.
So they have my solar system. You can create, you know, what you believe the solar system looks like and how it would function. This is a good one here. I've used this before. Where they got Ohm's law, nuclear fission. You can do those. Quantum bound states. It's
right.
You can download all of this, man.
That's pretty cool, Robert.
Wave interference, torques, stretching DNA. So I'm gonna put this out in the chat for everybody so they can have it. If they ever want to get involved and do anything, doing this stuff.
Hey, did you put that? Did you put the key experiments, the wave particle duality out there for those guys?
Yeah, let me do that right now. Let me do it.
Yeah, you know, you might need to watch it like 2,500 times, but it's well worth it.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely watch it. I'm gonna definitely watch it.
Well, I'm looking at the comments. I don't see a whole lot of questions.
No. Yeah, Bob should have your email by now, so you two can communicate.
I think I got something. Hold on 1 second, Bob from Glowbusters. So
Yeah.
it's not. Did you send me his email or?
Yeah, his emails. I copied him in the email.
Oh, so he can contact. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can contact me. That's no problem.
Let me hang on.
Okay.
I sent him a blank email. He's like, "You send me a blank email." I copied you in it. Hold on. Hang on a second. Okay. I had to send him another one.
Yeah, and
Anthony says, "I've been trying to share this in the chat." What is it he wanted to share? It's a 7 megabyte picture. Please tell me you ain't. What the hell?
it's the actual balloon, space shuttle balloon.
I don't know what this picture is. He's trying to. What is this? Oh, hell no, dude. What he sent me was supposed to be a picture of one of the modules that I guess was resupplying the ISS, and below that was a photo forensic of what it's supposed to look like.
Right.
Dude, it's totally fucking fake.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. That
Oh,
doesn't surprise me at all.
it's totally fake. Let me see if I can share it with everybody so they can see it. Totally fake, dude. I'm not surprised about that either. Which means that SpaceX, they all involved in the shit. So here's the picture that Anthony Bell was trying to share with everybody. Let me see if I can blow it up here. Here's a photo that Anthony Bell wanted to share with everyone. Here it is, people. That's supposed to be the Dragon module or something like that. Damn, it just got real huge on me just on my computer. Oh, see, now this thing is just fucking with my computer now.
Oh, because of the size?
Yeah. There it is. There's what they show you on the screen. And there goes, damn, Anthony, I can see you in the background, dude. He took a picture of it. Look, there he goes back there. Sorry about that, Anthony. And there goes the picture.
Hey, Robert, give me a minute. I'll be right back.
All right, you got it, bro. Tell me, anybody's got any other questions, man? It doesn't get much more fake than that. I got Picard's drawing. His capsule was a space and water capsule, but in one device. Type humanoids, ghosts, goblins, and other humanity faces that he humanoids. Anybody got any questions? Anybody got any suggestions? Anything? Somebody, please. I'm hungry. I have lunch, man. Love you too, Aaron. Aaron Musmoto. NASA sent its best trolls here. All I'm saying is these people have already lived half their lives, so I don't see their point in defending the globe. Man, you're right. What else? What else we got here? My big man, Marcus Mola. Anthony Bell. I got 230 million. Let's see here. Check this out. Oh, okay. Peter Pan sent something. Let me check this out.
All right, Robert, I'm back.
The Sage Sigma Blogspot. I got to check that out. Peter Pan sent that. Justin says, Sputnik News. Heavily Palace fall. Oh, okay. Talking about the Chinese. Chinese space station is supposed to be coming. They worried about it coming down. I'd love to see it come down from wherever the fuck is that. The one thing I saw CNN do, they were showing these guys go through training. They literally were in a microgravity environment on Earth. It was funny because they showed a split screen because they had been talking to the astronaut and they showed the split screen of them going through training. And I'm like, oh shit, were they supposed to show that? These guys haven't even left the ground yet. How the hell could they be in a microgravity environment? They haven't even left the ground. I don't think they were supposed to show this. I think CNN slipped up on that day. Oh, Hatterbao's God, the land management system. You gotta check this out, Justin. This is interesting. I mean, I'm talking about John.
What's that, Robert?
The Hatterbao thing that the guy was sending you.
Oh yeah, let me write that. Let me search that out. And it's spelled Hattybow. Hattybow.
Yeah, Hatterbao.
Yeah, let me check that out.
When I get some time. Talking about the system, and subsystem. Yeah, I got to read that.
What is it?
I'm just running over it right now.
Oh, okay.
So listen, I gotta shut this down. I gotta get something to eat. It's been fun. We're gonna do this again next week, John.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm not trying to telegraph my stuff, so because I don't want to be shut down. So
yeah, that last
You and I set it up offline sometime. And
Okay.
if anybody else is interested in being on the panel, Bob, if you want to be in on it, I'll send you an email letting you know when we're going to do it. We'll communicate. Or Bob may want you on their thing. I think he does something on Sunday or Monday. I'm not sure.
And he's got my contact information?
Yeah, he's got your contact, so you might probably do something with them on Sunday or something like that. So hook up with him. All right.
Hey, no problem, Robert.
All right, people. It's been fun. And John and I'll see you next week. We're going to be talking about debunking Einstein and quantum mechanics and some other physics stuff about physical reality. And who knows? Bob might have something on his with John this Sunday. But I'll be preparing something different. Again, people, so now what you know is what you can prove. Thanks a lot for everybody coming out, chatting, maintaining the civility inside the chat. Shitload of people got banned. I don't know if it was the real people or not, but maybe they were just the imposters trying to, fake their way in here. NASA, I love you too. I didn't mean to bring out your dirty laundry like that if you just happen to be listening, but you're going to have to school your people and educate them a little bit more, because I'm going to be making some phone calls, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it the right way you want me to do it. I'm going to schedule interviews, let you know it's going to be recorded, because we want to get educated on how you guys are actually pulling this magic show.
Ask them to educate you on the second law of thermodynamics.
Yeah, because we definitely need to be re-educated on the second law of thermodynamics. So definitely. But it's been fun, people. Be good to each other. Please do. Trolls, I love you too. You bring me a lot of attention. You really do. I'm seeing the value of these trolls. Because if you're gonna spend your day and your time to come in to try to screw with what I'm doing, that means I'm doing something you don't like. And hey, my new slogan will be setting the truth free from a lifetime of bondage. That's what it's about, baby. That's what it's about. Take care, people. Have fun, man. All right, John. I'm gonna end the broadcast, but you and I can still chat.
Okay.